I'm Dr. Timothy O'Donnell. Welcome to Rome, the eternal city, the city of St. Peter and St. Paul, where I invite you to join me on a spiritual pilgrimage where we'll be examining the Lenten stational churches of Rome. Today we go to another church dedicated to the memory of San Lorenzo, St. Lawrence. This one is called San Lorenzo in Lucina. Lucina was the Roman matron who helped to bury the body of St. Lawrence. The Italians, who always have a great sense of humor, have sort of nicknamed this church San Lorenzo nella cucina, St. Lawrence in the kitchen. One of the reasons they've done that is preserved in this church is the actual grill upon which St. Lawrence was roasted. Of course, one oftentimes has to keep one's sense of humor. It's reported that the saint quipped once he was placed on the grill, "You can turn me over, I'm done on this side." Well, the church, also having a sense of humor about this, proclaims St. Lawrence to be the patron saint for chefs and for cooks. So today it might be appropriate that we reflect upon the importance of hospitality in the kitchen. Think of all the good work that housewives and mothers down through the years have done to provide good meals for those whom they loved. This type of warmth and hospitality has always been embraced by the church, which sees many homes as meant to be domestic churches, and the important role of the mother in the home, being there to assist her children, to nurture their children as they grow on their way, is a good reflection during this Lenten season. Have we reflected and shown sufficient appreciation for the work of our mothers, the heroic work of our mothers, who oftentimes stay in the home, dedicating themselves completely to their children? When we think of this church and we think of St. Lawrence, that great military officer who sacrificed his life in order to bring about the conversion of this city to the faith, let us also think about the importance of life in the home and the important work done by mothers in the home, particularly during this Lenten season. Let us go now to the church of San Lorenzo in Lucina. This church lies near the historic center of the city of Rome, just off the Via del Corso. This ancient church was also referred to as the Titulus Lucinae and is one of the original 25 parish churches found in the city of Rome. This is the second church which we have visited, dedicated to the memory of St. Lawrence the Deacon. This church also honors the Lady Lucina, who built the original oratory which stood on this spot back in the 3rd century. The formal title to this ancient church in Latin is Titulus Beati Laurenti Martyris, qui appellatur Lucinae, the titled church of Blessed Lawrence the Martyr, which is called Lucinae. Her home actually probably was on this spot along the Via Flaminia, one of the most ancient roads in the city of Rome. We don't know a great deal about Lucina, but we do know that her name appears in a number of acts that speak about her relationship with a number of very famous Roman saints, including Pope Cornelius, the great martyr Sebastian, Pope Saint Marcellus, and others. She is known and oftentimes given the title Apostolorum Discipula, a disciple of the apostles. She is presented as the archetype or the symbol of the traditional pious devout woman who is dedicated to works of charity towards Christians, but a woman who also possessed a special fervent devotion to the martyrs. As a matter of fact, as some have observed, her name has been linked with the burial of a large number of martyrs, including Sebastian, Faustinus, Beatrice, Cyriacus, Pope Marcellus, and others. It is certainly possible, as some have observed, that there were several Lucinas rather than just one woman. It was in this church that Pope Saint Damasus was elected pontiff back in the year 366. The church began as a simple small oratory back in the 4th century and was eventually enlarged into a full church by Pope Sixtus III, who reigned as pontiff from 432 to 440. This church stood in need of restoration, and a restoration was carried out by two popes, Pope Benedict II in the year 685, and also Pope Hadrian I, who reigned as pontiff from 771 to 795. Those churches were tragically burned by Robert Guiscard and his Normans, who came in and plundered the city in the year 1084. It had to be rebuilt once again by Pope Paschal II, who was pontiff from 1099 to 1118. As a matter of fact, at the very back of the choir in this church, behind a small closed door, is a chair with the Pope's name inscribed on it and the date, 1122. The church was finally baroqued by Pope Paul V, Borghese Pope, who reigned from 1605 to 1621, whose name appears on the facade of St. Peter's Basilica. On the exterior of this church, we should note Pope Paschal II's beautiful campanelle, whose top three floors have double mullioned windows that are quite beautiful. This is contrasted with a very severe facade and portico with its granite columns and Ionic capitals. Also at the entryway we can see two Romanesque medieval lions who guard the entryway to the church. As we enter inside the church, to the first chapel on the right, we have preserved in that spot the gridiron upon which St. Lawrence was martyred. The courage of this man and the impact that he had on the city of Rome cannot be overestimated. As a matter of fact, within the confines of the city, there are over 45 churches and oratories dedicated to him, more than any other saint. The only one to rival that, or to top that, is the Blessed Mother herself. About halfway down on the nave, on the right side of the church, is a monument to Poussin, who died in 1660. This was funded by the great Catholic apologist Chateaubriand and was erected in the year 1830. Over the high altar, flanked by 6 columns of precious black African marble, is one of the finest works of Western art, Guido Reni's magnificent Crucifixion. As we gaze on this, let us focus on the mystery of our redemption wrought through the wood of the cross, and pray together the prayer before the crucifix. Behold, O kind and most sweet Jesus, I cast myself upon my knees, and in thy sight, and with the most fervent desire of my soul, I pray and beseech thee that thou wouldst impress upon my heart lively sentiments of faith, hope, and charity, with a true sorrow for my sins and a firm desire of amendment, while with deep affection and grief of soul I ponder within myself and mentally contemplate thy 5 most precious wounds, having before my eyes that which David spoke in prophecy of thee, O sweet Jesus. They have pierced my hands and my feet. They have numbered all my bones.